able to see and hear me right now. We'll go through everything. Make America great again. Welcome to the party, brother. Welcome to the party. My man, Paul, welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't worry. We will go over everything. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Neil. We'll give everybody a minute to check in. It's a freebie today. So we got a lot of people joining us, not just the my regular crew. So we'll give them 2 minutes. We'll give them 2 minutes. Boom. All right, all right. Thank you, Neil. My man, Mark, welcome to the party. S. Dot, my man, doing good, brother, doing good. I got to tell you guys a little story. I'm a tad bit tired today, but all in a good way, all in a good way. I was at Palms, slept at Palms last night. My girl got a comp because I told you guys she was the first student for Blackjack. So she's been playing. And as you play, you amass a shitload of comps. So anyway, Palm Center, 2 free 3-night stay throughout March Madness. You know, they want to get you there to bet March Madness as well if they know you gamble. So anyway, we took them up on it, but I was busy. We were both busy. I had to do the Blackjack class and focus on the start of baseball because as the guys that are subscribers of mine know, this is the time of the year that we're most prepared for. Meaning the most accounts that I offer are now. Like this is when they want the most. The groups that I work with for the last month have just been begging me. Get all the accounts in order. Get us as many as we can for baseball. Historically, this has been the most profitable sport. And the group that I'm now also betting baseball for is the group that I used to bet baseball for when we were doing all that damage. And for 1 year, I didn't. And more or less, look what happened. We had our first losing year in the last 5 in baseball in 2024. With that said, finished #1 in profit in MLB 2 of the last 4 years. Okay. We've made a ton of money in baseball. Last year was an outlier. So I was expecting a huge year, this one, 2025. We started off yesterday, cashed 2 of 3. We hit our 3% play. We hit our 4% play as an underdog. The only thing we lost was the first 5 2% play. So I'm staying selective, using the strongest shit. We're going to crush baseball. I'm so excited for it. And we have those 7 season win totals. Now, stayed at the Palms, and yesterday was the only night we were going to stay. And we weren't going to go down there till I finished up work, you know, so we could just tuck everything away and go. Make a long story short, I said, I'm going to bring some money to play Blackjack. And as the Blackjack guys know that have been taking the course, if you're going to go in there for a session, you want 100 units. If you want your risk of ruin to be low, meaning where I'm going to double my bank 8, 9 out of 10 times, only lose it 1.5 more or less out of 10 times, then I need to have 100 units. So I said, you know what? We won't go to high limit because I worry about facial recognition. So we'll go $25 tables and I'll spread 1 to 10x like I'm going to teach the guys. Right now, we're just learning the first about counting. You're now becoming counters. Anyway, make a long story short, I said we'll spread 25 to 250. I bring 100 units. I'll bring $2,500. I bring 2,500 just for Blackjack. I say, tuck this away in your purse. That's just for Blackjack. And then this is for, you know, you can play some slots, some other gambling shit, throw in a parlay, that kind of stuff. So it looks like we're gambling. Anyway, she does the slots. They also gave her like a promotional free slot play, free this, free that. So she plays her freaking slots, gets nothing out of it. We don't win no money. I say, you want to go to dinner and then play Blackjack? She's like, yeah, let's go to dinner. We go to Vitri, beautiful place. It's right above Ghost. So there's Ghost bars on like the 55th floor of the Palms. On the 56th floor is Vitri. Vitri is a restaurant on Broad Street in Philadelphia, Center City, Philadelphia. Famous Italian restaurant, high-end Italian. There's some real good family Italian restaurants in South Philadelphia, I mean, there's ones that only have like 5 tables that are like amazing Italian, home cooked Italian meals. But this is high end Italian, like the stuff when you go to Italy, the high end places that you'll go to Rome or what have you in Venice that are higher end, different than spaghetti and meatballs or, ziti with the sausage, which don't get me wrong. I love those. But sometimes it's cool to try something high end. So I keep saying, make a long story short, it's getting longer and longer. Anyway, so they have a 6-course tasting menu. And I'm like, fuck it, let's do this. She's like, no, it's expensive. We're taking advantage of the comp shit. I said, yeah, but since we're not paying for the room and you even got free slot play and all that, fuck it, let's do the 6-course chef meal. Cause I knew I always wanted to eat there. I never ate at the one on Broad Street in Philadelphia. I'm like, let's do it. And let's pair it with wine. And she's like, but because she pays attention to the class too, because she's doing the camera. And she's like, I thought you were saying don't ever play tired, don't ever play drunk, don't ever play anything like that. And I said, no, I'll take it light. I'll take it just a little sip that goes with the pairing of the food. So we do this 6-course tasting menu. 6-course menu with wine pairing. Amazing. It was stuff you wouldn't order. That's like not on the menu. And I'm not like, I like normal shit. I grew up in South Philadelphia. I like my mom cooked every day. She's Greek. We have Italian background. So I'm used to home cooked meal. But I like this one sometimes try stuff I would never order before. You know what I mean? Like it was like foie gras ragu with caviar, like weird shit that you would never think of making or ordering. So we did it. It was freaking phenomenal. Awesome food. Amazing experience. Rarely do you spend that kind of money at gourmet places and walk away and say, I got my money's worth. So many times I hate it. You pay a couple $100 per person. You walk out of there. And I swear, me and my girls have left a gourmet restaurant where we spent more money than we should have. And then we're like, let's stop at In-N-Out on the way home. Because the meals were like this. It was fucking Nora's. There you go, Paul. That's a spot. Nora's is a spot. So we have a freaking, it's like sometimes it's bullshit. I went to one of those taste course menus shit. And it was like air fused stuff. And it was like the smallest little portions. It's like, let's hit fucking In-N-Out on the way home and actually eat real food. So anyway, we do that. And I'm like, all right, let's go to Blackjack. Let's do it up. I'm good, ready to go. Dude, every single table on the casino floor was continuous shuffle. They didn't have a single blackjack game. Now, I don't mind automatic shuffle, as those that took the class understand. We like automatic shuffle. In fact, unless you're trying to pick off bottom card, which is a play I'm going to teach you guys when we get to advanced tactics, unless you're trying to do that for advantage play, automatic shuffle is good because I don't have to sit there and wait for the dealer to keep shuffling the deck. So I could get more hands in an hour when they just stick it in that machine that shuffles it. You guys know that I have one of those machines too in the course. So we didn't find a single freaking table that was not continuous shuffle, which we all know aren't beatable. It doesn't matter if it's 2 decks, 6 decks, 8 decks, they're still in continuous shuffle. So it doesn't even matter. You can't count. You can't do anything. You're just gambling negative EV more or less the whole time. And I'm like, fuck, not a single freaking regular game. So like just in high limit. So we go over to high limit. It's 100 a game. 100 minimum hand was 100. And I said, dude, I got $2,500. I'm underfunded. I'm not playing. And I was like, I got to follow my own rules. I'm not going in there to gamble. Like that's the one thing I'm going to really push when we cover money management of blackjack, how to bet size correctly, when to raise your bet, how much to raise your bet, what risk of ruin you want to play with, how many units you need for that risk of ruin. All that I'm going to teach you, but you never want to be underfunded. You never want to be underfunded. And I was like, I either have to now go back, grab $7,500 more because a $100 table, you need 100 units for a session. I need $10,000 to play a $100 table and be comfortable. Spread from 1x to 10x, 100 to 1,000. I said, I ain't doing that. Our whole point of taking a staycation for a night was so we could have fun. If I have, and even though I'm the favorite, I'm not guaranteed to win every session. So if I have a bad freaking session and I lose $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, it's going to ruin our fucking stay. I'm like, so no, forget it. I'm just not going to play. And I'm like, you have to have that kind of discipline. It's the hardest thing to do, to have that $2,500 in your pocket. My girl probably had another dime on her, 1,500. She could have just said, you know what? No, we got 4,000. But no, you got to be ready to go in there and win. You got to be mentally ready, physically, meaning rested to count and do damage, or don't fight. Don't fight that day. Push it off. And I was proud of myself that as badly as I wanted to play, as badly as I wanted her to play and do some damage, I did not play. So the moral of the story is, even someone like myself, who is a seasoned card counter, there's not a single blackjack game that is fair that I can't beat. And by fair, the guys that take the course understand what I'm talking about, where the rules aren't totally in favor of the house so that their edge is unbeatable. Like we're getting 3-2, not 6-5. We're actually getting a good game. There's no table I'm not a favorite against. I'll go and bust them up all night. But if I'm underfunded, they now have the advantage. And this correlates to sports betting too. You could be a great handicapper. You could be a plus CV bettor, know what a good line is, be able to get good CLV, and know where there's an inefficient number to take advantage of, shop good lines. You could do all of that. But if you bet size incorrectly by over betting your edge or not being properly funded, you're going to lose your money. You're now no longer the favorite. You're now gambling. And the biggest takeaway that I want the guys and girls that are taking my blackjack course to have is, I'm going to teach you how to be the favorite. I'm going to teach you all the tricks that I know, the stuff that I would not be written in books, the stuff that you're only going to have learned through years of fucking actually playing tens of thousands of hands like I've done. I'm going to teach you that. That's going to be taught, but that's still not going to get you to being a winning blackjack player unless you study it like I asked you to, so that you know it without mistakes and you bet size correctly. If you over bet your edge, even again, a skilled card counter like myself, and the proof is in the pudding, when you get tossed out of casinos and they don't want you to play blackjack, they know you're the favorite. There's no reason they don't want me to play. They have unlimited bankroll. I don't. So why would they be afraid of me if they don't think that I'm going to beat them in the bigger sample size of seeing hands? So when they throw you out and they don't deal you a game, that you are the favorite. That's them admitting you're the favorite. Doesn't mean you're going to win every session, but you are the favorite. But if I was to play underfunded, even like myself, sat down with 3,000, 4,000, and I really only have 30 units, 40 units instead of 100 units, and I'm going to play that 2 to 4 hour session, my risk of ruin is upwards of 50, 60%. That means I'm flipping a coin 50-50. Half the time with this kind of bankroll, I'm going to double up my money because I am a plus CV blackjack bettor. But half the time I'm going to lose it because I'm over betting my edge. Same exact thing with sports. You could be a winning sports bettor, know what to do, know not to buy half points unless you know what they're worth, know not to tease basketball, know not to lay 140 on teasers, know not to bet bad numbers, know not to check. You can know all of that. But if you have a $10,000 bankroll and you start betting 500 a game, you're going broke. You start betting, 5% a play, 7%, 10% of your bankroll per game, you're going broke. It's just a matter of time. That's not my opinion. That's a mathematical certainty. None of us could outrun the math. We could all defy probability for a little bit. Everybody could do it. That's why losing bettors continue to gamble, because they win too. And just like we could flip a coin 10 times, you could get 9 heads and 1 tail. That's not out of the realm of probability or possibility. In fact, of course that can happen, but you can't defy that probability forever. We all know that a coin flips 50-50. That's not opinion. That's fact. So we know that the big sample size of flips is going to reflect the true odds, and the true odds of a coin flip are 50-50. So even if I get 9 heads and 1 tail, that's not retainable, sustainable. That's going to regress towards the mean. It may not happen over the next 10 rolls, may not even happen over the next 20 or 30 or 40 rolls, flips, but over the next 200, 500, 1,000, because you now have statistical significance, It's going close to 50-50. At 1,000 flips, you're close to 500. And there's absolutely nothing you can do to change that. That's the law of big numbers, and that's the true odds of a coin flip. So with sports betting, it's the same. If you have $1,000 bankroll and you're betting $50 a game, $100 a game, you're putting yourself in a no-win situation. You're putting yourself in a risk of ruin upwards of, 50%. Remember, at 400 units, at 400. So if you're betting, if you're betting $25 units, okay? If you're betting $25 units and you have 400 of them, you say, I got 10 grand, all right? Even then, you are going to double your bankroll 6 times out of 10, and you're still going to lose it 4 out of 10. Even with a 2% edge, 2+% edge in blackjack, which is more or less the same edge you're going to have in sports. Because remember, the hold in sports is 4.5% when we're laying 110 to win 100. Now I know people are betting laying 120s to win 100, 115s to win 100. So it's even higher. But at minus 110 to win 100, the hold is 450 that we need to overcome, 4.5%. So before you could be profitable, you have to have an edge that's above 4.5%. So let's say you're the best capper on the planet. Let's say you're the sharpest guy that ever walked down the strip in Vegas. What's your edge going to be? 7%, 8%? Maybe you're a god and it's 10%. You're a sports betting god and you have a 10% edge. You don't have a 10% edge. You have about a 5% edge because you have the house edge is already 4.5. You have to overcome that before you're even profitable. So with blackjack, the difference is our edge is only, the house edge is only the way I taught you guys with perfect basic. It's less than 0.5%. You find the right table game, like I've shown you in the first class, their edge is about, they expect only to make about what, 30, 50 cents on every 100. If you find a good double deck, 30 cents on every 100. In sports betting, they're going to make $4.50 out of every 100. That's their expectations. So in blackjack, we have a 10x less edge we have to beat. And even then, if all you have is 400 units, you're still going to lose that bankroll 4 out of 10 times. You're going to double it 6 out of 10. And I hope you do that, 5 or 6 times before that 4 out of 10 comes into play and you lose a bankroll. But you still got to know that's the math I'm up against. Now you could do a 99% risk of ruin and where I'm going to double it 99 out of 100 times. You need 1,000 units for that. That's correct. So if you're betting $10 a unit, let's say you're spreading $10 on your regular bets, $20 on your best bets. And you're like, I'm as disciplined as they come, Ace. How do I have a 99% a double rate to a 1% risk of ruin? I'm going to tell you the math says you need 1,000 units. So to bet that $10 a unit, you need 10 grand. Now you tell me, let's be honest, how many sports bettors on the planet have a $10,000 sports betting bankroll and are betting $10 a unit? My man B Daddy, welcome to the party. Who? Almost nobody. That's why the 99.5% of sports betting accounts are negative lifetime earnings. That's why 99.5% of all sports bettors have negative lifetime earnings. It's not that a lot of them can't beat the spread. A lot of them are amazing handicappers. A lot of them are specialists even that know a particular sport, that may know rugby, that may know cricket, may know soccer, may know tennis, NASCAR, college basketball, college football, NFL, what have you, player props, be more knowledgeable than the odds makers and be able to get out ahead of the market. You may have that ability to do that, but if you don't bet size correctly, there's nothing you could do. You're going to lose your money. So please, 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 there's nothing more important than that. And yesterday, I'm telling you, I got faced with that. I got faced with that reality that I wanted to play blackjack. I knew I was the favorite. I know I have the knowledge. I was ready mentally. I was ready physically. I was ready to go, but I wasn't funded correctly. If you don't have all the pieces to the puzzle, stay away from it. And please, with sports betting, the same. If you can't win with 1,000, you ain't winning with 100,000. That's not, if that's the prove to yourself you can win with $1,000 bankroll, then you could do it with 100,000. But if you can't do it with a dime, you're not doing it with 100 dimes. The money's not going to make the difference because the discipline's not there. The discipline is not there. Now, we lost that 5% play yesterday, man. Sharp bettors did not do good in college basketball. We lost both plays. BYU, that was so sharp. I mean, Dave Mason came on from Bet Online. His sharpest basketball group was on BYU. He was on BYU. The guys I moved for were on BYU. No. Alabama got it done. And I have a future on Alabama. I have a nickel future on Alabama. If I find time, I said on Wager Talk today, I'm going to have my girl. I have a future. You know, my subscribers, you guys have a future on Auburn. We have a future on Auburn at plus 550. And I have a personal future on Alabama at like, I think like 18-1, 19-1. I only have a nickel on it to pay like 9,000. But what I want to do, if I get time, I want her to put out on social media the Auburn ticket and the Alabama ticket. And anyone that, you know, that retweets it, replies to it, whatever the saying is, she handles it. I don't handle it. And picks which one of these tickets they think has a shot at cutting down the nets. Whoever picks the right side, let's say Auburn does it. I'll pick the names that picked Auburn. I'll have randomly pick a name and send you with the guys $1,000. If Alabama does it, I'll randomly pick a name that chose Alabama and send you guys $1,000. So make sure you look out for that. It'll be on Instagram. It'll be on TikTok, and I'll put it out on Twitter as well. So it'll be a future ticket of Auburn, Alabama, and I'll let you guys pick which one you think has the better chance, and I'll give you $1,000. Remind me. I have so much on my mind, so much going on with these baseball accounts, and I know there's a couple of you guys. Hold on one second. Okay. I know Dustin, Wes, Mitchell, Tony B, you will be receiving the call. If not this weekend, right after the weekend. These are the next 4 names that I'm reaching out for betting accounts. 3 of you guys had already partnered up. I reached out to a couple more this last week. Only one of you guys had actual credit accounts. The rest had on-screen accounts. I can't work with those, even if you're going to fund it. Like if you're like, Ace, I could give you my Bet Online account. I have $20,000 in it. You know, give me the 10% free roll and fire away. Or I have a Pinnacle account, or I have a Chris account, or I have a skin of one of these. I can't use it. I can't use any accounts that are on screen because we're getting the stuff so early now. I'm so far up the food chain. This ain't a brag. This is the truth. And anybody that we've already partnered up could testament to that. That we're getting it. We hand bet everything. I don't have to put a bot on your account. I can make it look like it comes from whatever city you want to be. You know, you're in Cleveland. I'll make every bet look like it's coming from Cleveland. I hand bet it so they don't, the book ain't seeing it's a bot, but it has to be a credit shop, a credit account, and it has to be a non-on-screen account. Because we can't move the line for the rest of the team. And once they realize it's a sharp account, like a Pinnacle is going to notice it within our first 3 bets that we're beating this close. They're going to label it a sharp account. And when we bet, they're going to move the line. Everybody's going to follow the Pinnacle move, and we can't get no money more down. This way, I'm using non-screen accounts. Even though we're going to bet it into your account, the line's not even going to move. Not for an hour later, a half hour later. After we're done burying all the off-screen accounts, a couple guys will go on screen and bet it. So, again, Tony B, Dustin, Wes, and Mitchell, you'll be getting the call after this weekend or after the weekend. Andrew, my boy, thank you for hitting me up. I hope you're getting it done, and we could start working together, get you into the rotation. It was a great talk with my man from Atlantic City. Hope to be out there really soon in Philly. And if I do, you know, I want to go to AC. It's been too long. So again, if anybody is interested, make sure you hit me up. Social media, let's reach out. With that said, I tell you when I win, I tell you when I lose. And we started off with a great day in bases. That's how we wanted to start it. But the 5% cost us. Had a losing day yesterday. And you really, the props have been so good. We rarely, welcome Joseph, my man. Have been crushing. The fact that we lost, I think, both or all three of the player props, that's so rare. So we lost 9 units. We bet 0.25, as you know, not a whole thing over the last 7 days since the last time we hooked up. And it's mostly that 5% play. But I feel really good where we're sitting for the year. Now only down a couple units. We were up a few units coming in. This reminds me so much of 2020 where we were break even. I remember I told you about this 2 to 3 weeks ago. 1 week we were up 5 units. Next week we were down 2 units. Next week we were up 10 units for the year. Next week we're down 3 units, 5 units, back and forth. And then April came along in baseball, and we went April, May, June, July, August, and just destroyed it. Had a great football season. Ended up having the best year since I've been at Wager Talk. This is only the second time we're coming off a losing year like that. So I'm really excited for what we have going on. This year's setting up very, very nicely. Now, oh, my man, make sure, hit me up, Joseph. It would be my pleasure, brother. It would be my pleasure. Now, real quickly, I want to talk and get the blackjack out of the way so we could get into sports. In the first class, you know, we talked about introduce the game the way I wanted to introduce it, explain to you why it's beatable with what I'm going to teach you. Then I showed you what games to look for, which exact blackjack tables you want to be playing at. I followed it up by what decisions you're going to be asked to make, which are only 4 of them. If you're playing 6 deck, the first decision was surrender. The second decision, regardless whether you're playing 6 deck or 2 deck, is do I have a split possibility? Third decision is do I have a double down possibility? And the fourth decision was do I hit or stand? That's it. You got 4, A, B, C, or D. That's all you're going to have to choose from. And then I told you how perfect basic strategy gets you to where they're only expected to make 30 to 50 cents out of every 100 you're betting. And if you use the comp system the way I explained, you're break-even player at worst. Your comps are going to cover your losses as long as you're not increasing bet size and playing perfect basic. Even if you're playing a $100 table. Remember what I showed you? I did the math for you on a $10,000 bankroll, 25 average hand, playing 400 hands. That's what you're going to be down, plus or minus $50 compared to 150 in craps, compared to 500 in roulette. So I taught you how to be a break-even player and even with comps. Last week was a really good class, the second class. That's when we reviewed, answered any questions from your practice all week, and we got into the 6 or 7 different counting systems that are available to you. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, what the differences are between each level count, and then the count that I think is the best and most beneficial, the reasons why. And then I started teaching you that count. So this entire week, you guys should be practicing your running count. So you have it right every time. Your running count. You remember how to do that. Pull the 2 cards out at the bottom of the deck. Any 2 cards, don't look at them. Do your count. And then when you get to the end, you could already know what those 2 cards that you haven't looked at are. Then do it with 3 cards. Do it with 4 cards. Do it with 2 decks, 4 decks, 5 decks. And do the same thing. Put 3 or 4 cards that you haven't looked at. Get to the end of the deck. Have what your count is. And know what those cards are just by that. Practice that this entire week with reviewing of your perfect basic strategy. Because come class 3, I'm going to teach you how to turn that running count into a true count. So you know exactly what the count is based if it's 1 deck, 2 decks, 4 decks, 6 decks, 8 decks. That's where the power comes in. And then we get the bet sizing. And then we get the deviation. When we deviate from basic strategy, that's what's going to increase your playing efficiency. Right now, you're going to learn about betting correlation, how your bet sizing is going to give you the huge advantage, how to correlate your bets based on the count. When you learn how to correlate, how to play efficiently, what the best move is based on the count, then you become a lethal weapon. And finally, I'm going to teach you those ploys and moves and tactics to avoid detection for as long as possible so that you don't appear to be a card counter and you're able to take advantage of those comps. And I'll teach you how to play single. I'm going to teach you guys how to do team play. So you could do team play if you do have a handful of friends that are learning as well, or you're teaching them what you're being taught. And then you're off to the races, baby. And when you come out here to Vegas, every one of you in that class has a free invite. Just let me know. I will come stand behind you while you play. Whether I don't care if it's a $5 table, $10 table, I don't give a shit. I'm going to watch you play, and then we could go grab some lunch or some dinner, and I will let you know what I think of your play and where I think you need to, improve or focus on, or if you want to get bankrolled, then let's partner up. So I'm really excited about that. And you guys are doing so good, so freaking good. I'm so proud. I swear to God. So I was telling my girl when I got off last week's class, I said, I'm so happily surprised at how quickly these guys are grasping it. I don't know whether it's because they're sharp bettors, like smart sports bettors, most of them, so that they understand gambling. But I was I'm telling you, I don't have the word for it because I didn't think it was going to go down like that. I didn't think you guys were going to grasp the information that quickly and truly understand it. I could tell by the questions you're asking whether you grasp it or not. And like I told you, I will slow it down till everybody's on the same page. And at the end, if anybody still feels they're behind and everyone else is graduated, I will continue mentoring you till I want everyone that takes that course is going to walk away knowing that they're armed to be the favorite versus the casino. The only thing they're going to have to do is practice so that they become fucking as great at it, as good as I am at it, and have that kind of confidence that you could bust up any game that's fair. You could go and busting them up all night and is bankrolled perfectly to do that. So I'm really excited for that. Thank you, S. Dot. Thank you, brother. Smash that like button. I always forget to do that. It's just live trading for me. So I don't look at it like, promoting the show or anything. So I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. So let's move into college basketball real quickly for today. All right, here's what I got. I'm going to let you know. I got a 4% already on Kentucky. We grabbed the points with Kentucky. We got +5 on Kentucky. I think they're good down to +4, -110. I would only go probably at 3% play, which means 0.75. You never want to bet 3% here, bankroll on anything. Those are just ratings. They reflect ratings at Wager Talk. This is the rating of the play, not the bet size of the play. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% is a rating. It's not a recommendation of bet size. We go 0.25 of each of those. So even a 5% play, 0.25 of 5% is 1.25. So we're never betting more than 1.25 on a dog or betting to win 1.25 on a favorite, which simply equals, with a $10,000 bankroll, we're never betting more than $125 on any dog. And we're never betting to win more than 125 on any favorite. That's on a 5% play. Our average plays are 3 and 4%. So we're betting between 0.75 and 1%. We're barely ever going above that. So with 10,000 bankroll, my guys, they're averaging betting between $75 and $100 per play. You'll never lose sleep over that, or at least you shouldn't. You'll never have to Jones and look at what the scores are and have it ruin your day or make you too hyped like you're killing it. But more importantly, you'll survive the negative stretch that's ultimately coming for every sports bettor. I don't care how good of a year you have. I could go back to my 2020, which was my best year in the last, 7-8 years of betting. And I promise you, you'll be able to whip out a sample size if you cherry pick a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. And what you'll find is, dude, does this guy even know how to gamble? Like, does he even watch? He's terrible, because that's going to happen. That's the randomness of short-term sample sizes. There's randomness involved, just like the quarter. Over 10 flips, we could get 9 heads and 9 tails, but we all know that's not the true odds. And it's like that for a winning sports bettor. Over a sample of 100 bets, you could look horrific. Just like over a sample of 100 bets, a negative EV losing bettor who's never won a year in his life could look like they're on fire. That's why, social media, everybody wins. We know that. Now, someone had said something about the casinos, like, and my girl it was funny. We looked outside and she's like, dude, this place is so big. I'm like, yeah, it was when it first opened, it was just one tower, the Palms. I said, but they had Real House. I think it was called something like that. Remember MTV had a reality show back when reality shows first started, and they had it at the Palms, and that blew that place up. That was the hot spot in Vegas. Like for young people, that took all the Hard Rock's action. The Hard Rock was the spot. That middle bar at the Hard Rock, man, legends were born there. But the Palms took that over, all those young people, all the party scene, they took it over. In fact, they made so much money, they built a second tower at the Palms. And then they made so much money, they built a third tower, which they rented out and sold condominiums. If you guys remember, anyone that's been with me last year, until I moved in, into a house, I was living at the Palms. So I was living at Palms Place. And my girl's looking out the window. She's like, damn. She's like, how much money does something like that cost? Like, this is 3 freaking towers. This casino is huge. How do they do it? I said, baby, it's just the truth of what is happening on downstairs. I know everybody's putting their wins. I know slot players are putting videos of them busting slot machines up. Guys are putting videos of them winning a roulette number, hitting a blackjack. There's sports same game parlay bullshit and all those tickets. I said, but the reality is the house is who wins. So few are actually making their money betting sports. Very, very few are able to do that. That's exactly how these places get built. They're not like that by real world. Yep. That's it, Paul. Like they wouldn't. Again, if people were winning like social media lets you think, and I feel terrible. I hate seeing that because thank God when I broke in, that wasn't around because I'd have been so jaded. I would have thought that, oh, this is going to be easy. Like, dude, these guys are putting up these, $25 on these same game 8-thing parlays and they're winning 50, 100 grand, 200 grand. Shit, I'm going to make my score. Little do you know, they've lost 300,000 and then won 200,000. Trust me, that's how it goes. It's like every video poker player, they play video poker because they hit it. If anyone's playing video poker for more than 5 years, they've hit a royal flush. They've hit their 4,000, 8,000, 10,000 royal flush. They're still chasing that royal flush. I promise you. Like that's why they're playing, because they made their score, but they gave that right back and then some. That's just the truth. I've been here 30 years. I know the realities of gambling. I've seen it. I've seen it in every form. Table games, poker, sports, horses. I've seen every type of gambler, every type of system, every type of people that come in ambitious, ready to make their living being a gambler. And very quickly, this city will send you home. I always say they fly in, but they bus home. I see that more than anything else. Guys and girls that fly in here and end up at Greyhound taking a bus home. This city will weed you out quicker than any other. Like if you have any vices, this ain't the place to come, number one. Like if your vice is alcohol, drugs, women, or gambling, this is not the place. Not that you can't find that shit anywhere. If that's what you're looking for, you could find it anywhere. But the problem is it's a lot more accepted here. It's a lot more available here. You know what I mean? It's kind of like with weed. Like I was never against weed, but I think now that legalizing it the way they have with recreation, I don't think it was a good idea. And I'm one of the people that voted yes back when they put it on the ballot here in Nevada, because I didn't think it was a bad thing. I thought there's nothing wrong with raw smoking a joint. And it's if you don't like to drink and you want to relax and enhance your experience, whether it be with food, whether it be with entertainment, whether it be, with your girl, your boy, whatever it is, like there's nothing wrong with that. But when you make it so accessible, all of a sudden, most people aren't disciplined, and something that was a casual thing becomes an addiction. And I've seen that. I think it's honestly, I don't like that. I'm not happy about that. Like I see now, like young people, middle-aged people, old people that are smoking, taking edibles, vaping, inhaling it, however the hell. There's so many ways to take it now. You could drink it. There's so many ways to take, THC. And again, I'm not anti. Don't get that twisted. But I'm not pro the abuse that they've allowed. Let's not forget. I don't want to go political, but if you remember when COVID was here, they shut down the churches, they shut down the schools, but they sure as hell kept the dispensaries open. They kept the liquor stores open. They kept the casinos open. Like that ain't fucking good for society. Let's be honest. And again, I'm not trying to be political, but we ain't becoming better people because of that. Numbing, especially these young kids. Dude, your brain's still freaking growing till you're 25 years old. Thank God I grew up more in a disciplined place in Philly where you were looked at as like a scumbag, like back in those days when it wasn't as like hip and shit. Like if you were a druggie, wasn't a good thing. Like there were kids that were, they were the druggies and shit. That wasn't something to be proud of. That wasn't something that you aspired to become. So thank God it wasn't introduced to me at a young age. Like, so I think most of my brain had already formed, but if your brain is forming till you're 25 years old, and now these kids at 18 years, forget 18, at 16 years old, they're already vaping. And it isn't 5-6% THC like we had. Fuck, we had dirt weed. You're lucky to get Mexico dirt weed back then. It was half stems and seeds. You had to take out all the seams and stems before you could even roll a joint. It took you 30 minutes to roll a joint because of all the seeds and stems in it. And you're lucky if you're getting 6-7% THC. And all of a sudden Snoop and Dr. Dre came out and we heard about the chronic. And next thing you know, we're getting Cali weed now too back east. Chronic, we're getting 10% THC. Bro, these kids are hitting these vapes that are 80-90% THC, dude. 80-90% THC. Not good. Not good. So you got to chill with that shit. Now, with that said, we talked about the college basketball already. Michigan State, Mississippi, first game on the board. Nothing but Michigan State action. It's all Michigan State. And here's what we know about Michigan State. Their offense is no better than Mississippi's. They're both, one's about 31st, one's about 30th. So where I have them, the power ratings I trust, have Mississippi, Michigan State right against each other offensively. It's on the defensive side of the ball. Michigan State has the biggest edge. They're a top 5 defense, barely a top 30 defense. So can Mississippi score with Michigan State? That's the question. The only question we need to answer. You know what you're getting from Michigan State. The question is, can Mississippi score with Michigan State? Now, Mississippi's not supposed to be here. Remember, they win at beat Auburn as 13-point dogs. Lose by only 5 against 13-point dogs to Auburn. Before that, remember, they had beaten Arkansas in that SEC. They get North Carolina, a red-hot North Carolina team. And what do they do as 1.5-point dogs? They beat them by 7. Then 5-point dogs against Iowa State. They win by 13. So they've outperformed the market. 3 straight games, more or less. Michigan State, on the flip side, it's hard to fade this team. Here's the problem I'm having with Michigan State, all right? They've won 9 of their last 10 games. They've covered 9 of their last 10 games. That's an outlier type of run over 10 games. You're usually going to regress and progress towards the mean. We all know that. That's the reason I love baseball so much. You have a huge sample size. There's enough time for teams, pitchers, bullpens to regress and progress towards the mean. Nobody's winning 80% of their games in baseball when the season's over. After 2 weeks, they could be at 80%, but after 2 months, that's not happening. You win 60% of the games, you're probably winning the division in baseball. And you have a huge sample size. Everyone regresses to the mean. But with that said, in some sports like football, even college basketball, sometimes you don't have that opportunity. Let's think about it. By the All-Star break in baseball, you got 5 NFL seasons in. That's a huge sample size. That's a lot of time to get to the long term and regress and progress. So the problem I'm having with Michigan State is, when are they going to regress and progress towards the mean? The sports books jacked their prices up a little bit. Remember, against Bryant, They put them out as 17-point favorites. They got that job done by what? 25 points. Against New Mexico, they made them 6.5-point favorites against a hot New Mexico team. They get the cover there as well. Now, you have a number 2 versus a number 6. I'm telling you that I could look in the back end right now, and I'm looking at 8 out of 10 bets from yesterday, tied into Michigan State. And this line's not climbing. That's a red flag to me. As a sports bettor, that should be a red flag. That wait, if I know they're so one-sided on Michigan State, why are they not trying to minimize their risk? Why isn't this up to 4.5? Oh, wait, it is. Guess where? Places that don't book sharp money. Any place that books sharp money, they're giving you Michigan State. In fact, at Bet Online, you get Michigan State minus 3.5, minus 103. You have to pay VIG to get the 3.5 on Mississippi at Bet Online at a sharper shop. That's a telling sign to me. I'm not telling you Mississippi's going to win this game, but I could tell you the sports books are extremely comfortable booking Michigan State at minus 3.5. That's obvious. That's very telling. That's hard to argue. That's very hard to argue because again, it's no secret where the money is in this game. That's very obvious. It's on Michigan State, and it's heavy on the Michigan State side. As far as the total goes, this is one of those that's getting under money. It's getting under money from the recreational bettors. Not seeing any sharp money. None of the accounts that I bet for, none of the guys that share with me have taken the total at all. If you remember, the total got bet down first. Opened 44, got to 44.5 within minutes. Got bet down to 143.5. Since then, it's been going over. I see two-way action. I think, if anything, it'll be heavier towards the under. I personally don't have a strong opinion on the total, but I can tell you I do like Mississippi in this one. I do like Mississippi. Haven't bet it, haven't released it. We've got some time for confirmation, but that's what I like. Next game, Kentucky versus Tennessee. As you guys know, I have Kentucky 5% play on 4% play, on Kentucky +5. I think Kentucky's good to +4. At +4, though, I would only probably put a 3% play. Loses some of its value. I think at +5 was the great number, even laying up the -120, because the true number should have been about a -121, 122, especially on what this total is. Now, as far as the total goes, in this one, let me just confirm. For you guys. Yeah, this is another one that was getting good two-way action. Actually, the public was kind of betting this one a little more under than over. And it's another one that didn't get sharp money steamed at all. Opened 146, went to 45, then 45.5, then 45, then 44.5, then 40. So it's been moving in increments of half points, reflecting as the money's coming in, mostly from the recreational bettors. Haven't heard a sharp move on Kentucky, Tennessee total so far from anyone. What I do like about Kentucky, number one, is they've already played them twice in this season, right? They played them in January. They played them in February. They beat them by 5 in Tennessee. They beat them by 9 at home. The difference is Kentucky were dogs in both those games, okay? Meaning even at Tennessee, they were 10.5-point dogs. At home, they were 3.5-point dogs. Now on a neutral, we're getting 4.5, 5. That, to me, is a little off. But I think the reasoning is Tennessee's supposed to beat them, right? Tennessee's number 2. They're a number 2. They have a top 5 defense. I think they're a top 3 defense. It's their offense that's not all that impressive. That's what we need with Kentucky to do. Kentucky's going to have to, at 4.5 -110, if you could get 5 -120, T Corbez, take the 5 -120. If you have to even up to 121, but if they're charging you 122 or higher, don't take it. You're better off at 4.5, taking the 4.5 -110. But if you're able to buy that half point, and you're only laying -120, you're getting the best of it. At 121, you're about break even. Above 121, you're paying more than you should for the half a point. So at that point, I would take the 4.5 on Kentucky. But I would also wait, because a lot of bettors are still going to get to the window. Tennessee's not only going to be straight bet and money line bet, but it'll be teased. They're teasing college basketball. I don't know why, but they're doing it. So rest assured, as risk piles up on Tennessee, they know that the Sharps do like Kentucky, so they could limit some of their risk by enticing us to go up. And even if it goes down to 4, you're not really getting too much of a worse number between +4.5 or +4, because the worst that's going to happen is it lands 4 and you push. Like the difference between taking +4 and taking +3.5 is different, because you could push on 4 and lose the 3.5. But the difference between taking 4.5 or taking 4 isn't that big of a difference. Between the worst that happens is instead of a win, you push, but you're not losing money. So that's the difference. So I like Kentucky there. Give me 1 second. Let me take some. Hold on 1 second. It's crazy how the brain works. I just forgot I had left something in the bag from last night. So now, with that said, let's move on to Michigan, Auburn. Listen, I have a strong opinion here. I like Auburn. And it's not just because I have a future on Auburn, because the truth is I should be hedging right now and taking the points with Michigan. It's a chance for me to keep my future ticket alive and hit a Michigan bet. If Auburn wins by between 1 and 8, I cash Michigan bet and I have Auburn live. So that's the smart move tonight. And because we have 20 plus units on Auburn, I may send you a 2% play on Michigan. If I start to lean that the cover, you'll get something on Michigan, just letting you know, subscribers. But I'll include in there, this is if you bet the future. This isn't for guys that are just are buying today or signed up this week and don't have the future. But here's the problem I'm having with Michigan right now. Talk about a team that's outperforming the betting market. Few teams are doing it like Michigan, okay? Here's what Michigan has done of late. Not only have they run hot, okay? They've won 5 straight games straight up. They won 5 straight games against the spread. And 4 of those 5 games, they were dogs. So the odds makers and the market, us, all agreed that Michigan should lose those games. You're the dog, right? That's what we're saying. When a team's getting 4.5, 5 points, and they close getting 4.5, 5 points, we all agree that they should be an underdog in this game. And yet they won the game outright. They beat Maryland by a bucket. They beat Wisconsin by 6 points. They beat Texas A&M by 12 points. They beat Purdue by almost 30 points, okay? They've truly outperformed the betting market. I expect a regression. Now, is that going to happen today? I can't be sure of that, but I could be pretty sure that they're not getting a true number. Okay, here's what I mean by that. The narrative is Auburn peaked early. They peaked too early in the season. And down the stretch, they haven't played hot. They're not hot, where Michigan's hot. Listen, Michigan won the last 5 games. Prior to that, they lost 3 games before that. They were favored in 2 of those 3 games. They were expected to win, and they lost them. So they've gotten hot over the last 5. That's it. Just since March 15th. Okay, it's 2 weeks, not even, that if they're hot, that they've gotten hot. Auburn, on the flip side, okay, Auburn, they've won 7 of 10 games, 3 of their last 4. But where they've hurt the bettors is at the betting window, because they're not covering numbers. They've only covered 1 of their last 6. They've only covered 3 of their last 10. And what is that telling you? That the odds makers weren't willing to give you Auburn at a discount. They thought Auburn was a strong team that was going to get backed by the bettors. So they forced you to pay a premium and they didn't cover numbers. That's what happened. But their number one offense of all the teams remaining, they're the best offense out there, and they're a top 10 defense. Michigan's barely a top 40 offense. They're barely a top 20 defense. With the better team is Auburn. There's zero doubt that. Now, this great equalizer becomes the point spread. Just like with money lines in baseball, the money line becomes the equalizer. Because a team could win 65% of their games, but if you're betting them every day and the average closing line is minus 200, you're going to lose money because the break even 67%. So the great equalizer is the money line. And in sports betting, the great equalizer is the point spread. So the only question I think is Auburn going to cover the 8.5 points that they're favored, even 9 in some of the sharper shops? Like I said, I like Auburn. I like Auburn to win this game. I haven't bet them minus the points. I'm not going to bet them minus the points. It doesn't make sense. If anything, I'm going to sprinkle a little Michigan. Plus the points, I wouldn't waste a plus 350 money line. That would be the cheaper way to do it. Put 2% on Michigan money line. If they do knock out Auburn, then we make money on our future anyway because of the Michigan side. No, I think Auburn wins this game. The question is the cover. And if we are going to bet, thank you, Tom. Love you, brother. Thank you. It's just life experience, bro. Whenever I swear to you, I'm not trying to act like a guy that knows everything. I'm just a guy that's had a lot of life experience. I came here 25 years old, on my own. Nobody was waiting for me. I had $600 in my pocket. So I've made every mistake you possibly can think of. Every mistake in life and every mistake as trying to be a professional winning gambler. And my goal in life now where I am is to help guys that have the passion that I had, that I see with that passion and are ambitious to get there faster, to avoid the pitfalls that I encountered and didn't have the discipline, didn't have the knowledge, didn't have the life experience to do the right thing and overcome that heartache, that uphill battle, that uphill climb. That I'm not acting like a specialist or I know that, but I'm telling you just from my life experience, the stuff that slowed me down, that hindered my success, that slowed down my progress, that made my life harder than it needed to be. That's my goal doing this and why I do content and with all of that. Thank you. Yeah, Gambler's Perspectives, the show. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, champ. Love you guys. Love you guys. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me, bro. I swear to you. I'm not trying to act like an expert or anything like that. I'm trying to let you know that I made so many mistakes, and you're going to encounter the same things as a sports bettor, just as you get older in life and life experience, shit throws at you, investments, the mistakes I made with investments, the mistakes I made, with all kind of life choices. I'm telling you from someone that made mistakes, not from someone that did everything right and telling you, all you got to do is follow my freaking method. Just follow my blueprint and your life's going to be easy. All you got to do is buy my picks and you're going to have the same watch. You're going to have the same car I drive. You're going to have the same house I live in. You're going to have all the same lifestyle. It's all bullshit. It takes a long time to acquire things. And they don't teach us patience. They don't teach us that in school. But that's what it takes. And we're inundated all day by nothing but status, and getting it quick and selling your soul for it. And I'm telling you, that's not the way. Patience. Crawl, then walk, then run. I wish I did it in those steps. I tried to run before I was even freaking prepared to crawl. That's what I learned in life. When I look back, I tried sprinting when I wasn't even prepared to crawl. Those are the mistakes I made in my day. And I want you guys not to make them. Those that at least I see have the same passion and ambition I did. Now, someone was asking about a total on Tennessee and Kentucky. I don't have any information as far as sharp bettors, but here's what I could tell you. It did get bet down under early, but there came some over money as well. I seen two-way action there. I don't have any strong opinion on the total. If you have conviction, I highly urge you to go with what you like. The one thing that does stand out is you're looking at two teams, Michigan, Auburn, that are coming off some high-scoring games. You know, Michigan put up 90 in their last game, and they had a total of only 144. Okay, low total. So they weren't expecting to score a lot of points, and yet there was 170 points scored in that game, well above what the market expected. Auburn put up 82. Now their total was higher. It was 148.5. It went to 152 is what they scored. So it didn't exceed it by a lot. But if you look before that, there were some unders for Michigan. There were some unders for Auburn. So you're blindly betting the overs in these games, which seems profitable, at least of late. Be careful there. Be careful there. I actually lean under. If I have to bet Michigan, Auburn, I'm betting it under because they seem to be more under teams that are coming off some recency bias where they both put up a ton of points. Now, as far do I think they'll come in for the Michigan State? I mean, the Mississippi, Michigan State. Let me see how that line moves so I can tell you what I think real quickly. I think the only way that Mississippi, Michigan State line is going to go, if sharp bettors come in, they're going over. I don't think they're going to go under. I think if they go, they're going over because there's been the market's 144.5 pretty much across the board. It's what it's painted, but I've seen 145s out there and they're not being bought up. Usually that's a precursor to what's to come. That's the buy number that's out there. They're looking for 145 or better. And when it comes up, they take it. That hasn't happened. So I think the only way we can see this is if some late steam comes in on the over, thinking this one's not high enough. As far as Mississippi, Michigan State goes, Auburn and Michigan, like I said, I think there's some recency bias there that makes this total higher than it should be. Again, and I think that the line move reflects that because the books opened it at 151. It's the market that drove it up. It went over at 52, 53, 54, now up to 55. So if you like the over now, I think it's too late. Again, they could score 180 points, but you got to be able to conclude it's not a great bet. Because here's the question I have for you. If you like the over, what were you waiting for? You had a chance to bet it over 151, you didn't. You had a chance to bet it over 152, you didn't. You had a chance to bet it over 153, you didn't. You had a chance to bet it over 154, you didn't. Now 155, you're going to choose to do it? That's 4 or 5 points worse than you could have had. That's not betting from a position of strength. Now you're hoping that it still goes over, but that's not winning from any position of strength at all. At all. SF Niner, that's on you, brother. That's on you. I can't make your money for you, brother. You're in charge of your own money. It's how you bet your money. I can't bet it for you. I make my money. I'm doing just fine. If you can't make I can't help you there. That's on you. That's on you, my man. You got to take responsibility for your own bets. I can only tell you what I'm betting, what I'm doing, how I manage my risk, and what my long-term results are. My stuff's been documented 10 years now, since 2015. 8 of those I turned to profit. That's what I've done in this industry. Now, if I haven't been able to help you, that's on you. I've helped myself and anyone that's been with me that long, but I'm that my job is, and I can't handle every single person and help. That's not what I do. I help myself and then share what I'm doing that's helped me. But I can't do that. I'd be lying to you. I know everyone on YouTube's making money. Everyone on gambling Twitter's making money. They're all rich. I know it, bro. And the casinos, if everybody, here's the funny part. If even 10% of that was true of what we see, these places would be closing every other week. A casino would be closing down because everybody's winning. And yet there's new ones popping up better and better and better. And the older ones, they're rebuilding them. Like, so someone's got to be losing, but nobody on gambling Twitter's losing. That's for damn sure. Why would they be losing? Everybody's a winner. Bro, I tell you, I lose. I tell you, I prepare my guys to lose. Until you learn how to lose, you're never going to win. You're never going to win because your edge as a gambler is very small. As a card counter, you have about a 1.5%, 2% edge. That's very small. But you're making $1.50, $2 every $100 you're betting. And you could get 100, 150 bets an hour in. You keep rolling that 100 over, that $1.50, $2 rolls up real quickly. Sports betting, it's the same thing. But they could make it look like it's easier than that. But I promise you it isn't. Here's what I could promise you. There's a reason 99% of sports bettors that even sell information never document their shit. There's a reason 99 out of every 100 shows where they give picks don't document their long-term results. They'll show you their guys on there that are hot for that season maybe, but they've been on that show for 5 years. Why aren't you showing me what they've done over the 5 years? Why are you just showing me 2024, 2025? They've been doing the thing for this long. That's what I always ask. That's us, the market. We should be demanding of that. But for some reason, they don't show it. Like I said, that's why I made sure when I was with the big moves, every day they could go back over 10 years and look what every day looked like. Because I want to prepare my guys to bet size correctly, because they will have to deal with losing, unfortunately. Because if it was that easy, everyone will be doing it. Why the hell would anyone go to work? We all love sports. Most of us love sports. If all you had to do was stay home and bet sports, why the fuck would anybody go out and work? Who in their right mind would go to work? Nobody. But we all know that's not the way it works, my friends. We all know deep down, no matter what we want to believe, deep down, we're all reasonable enough men and women to know what the truth is. All of us do. All of us do. And that's why I make sure I tell my guys when I'm down. Right now, I'm down. We're at the end of March. I'm down like 6, 7, 8 units for the 2024. I'm not 2025. I'm not profitable yet. To me, that's a random sample size. That's flipping coins. That's a smaller sample size. I'm comfortable in saying that because I'm confident that by December 31st, I will be profitable. I'll be able to say I've won 9 out of the last 11 years. That's my goal. My goal isn't to make this week's rent, this month's mortgage, this week's I want to go to vacation with my friends, so I need to make this score. That's not why I do this. I do this because I found sports betting is a very good investment vehicle if you treat it that way, or treat it as entertainment, and you'll never get hurt. There'll be even times where you make a score and then go have that vacation. Go take your girl out to a nice dinner. Go buy that thing you weren't going to buy. Do it for fun. But if you're doing it for profit and treating it like an investment vehicle, then every action you make should reflect that of a winning bettor. It's this easy. I can't make this example any easier, okay? The reason I don't look like I should be on the cover of Muscle and Fitness is because I don't deserve to. Why don't I deserve to? Is it because I'm not lucky? Is it because it's genetics? That's all bullshit. Is it because I'm just not built that way? That's all fucking bullshit. It's because I don't diet like someone on the cover of Muscle Fitness magazine. I don't sleep like someone on the cover of Muscle Fitness magazine. I don't exercise like someone like that. My lifestyle isn't like that. So I don't deserve to do that. I don't deserve to look like them. There's nothing I'm doing that makes me deserving of looking like that. I shouldn't just be able to flip my finger or take a pill, even worse, or take a shot and look like that. No. That's not how life works. Same thing with sports betting. If you don't make every action, if you can't look in the mirror and be honest with yourself and say, every action I'm making is that of a winning sports bettor. Right now, I may not be ahead, but all my actions are that of a winning sports bettor. So it's just a matter of time. Like I told you with Blackjack, I know I'm a winning Blackjack player. I know how dangerous I am. That's been proven. But if I go in underfunded, I'm gambling now. I'm not reflecting that of a winning card counter. I'm now gambling. Do I deserve to win? I might get lucky and win. I'm the favorite to win, but I know I'm not prepared to win. And the same thing as a sports bettor. Do you not have multiple accounts where you could shop the best numbers? Are you sometimes taking a worse number because you want action on it? Are you betting a game because it's on TV and you want to watch it and have some action? Are you chasing where you're never betting more than 1% of your bankroll, but now you're down 10 straight bets, 12 straight bets. You're like, fuck, Now I got to climb back. Let me just start betting 2%, 3%, 4% and get that back quicker. Like if you're doing any of those things that we all know are wrong, how should it reflect that of a winning sports bettor? It's that simple. Ricky J, I don't at all. Never have. Never have. All my shit's fake. You're absolutely right. All these accounts, here, I'll show you. All these phony as a $3 bill. As a $3 bill. I didn't win any of this money. This is all fake. This is all fake. That's all fake. There's 7 dimes from one account. Reach into another one. Because last week was a good week. You guys remember. It only gives me a nickel on that one. Anyone that partners up with me is going to tell you what's happened over the last few weeks. I don't bet. Brother, I could get down the type of money on stuff that most can't, which is why I get women's WNBA shit, why I get women's college basketball, why yesterday I gave out to my subscribers 2 women's rugby plays while I give Austrian hockey. It's because guys that win in those markets, they know to reach out to me to get them down because I could get them down. That much I can promise you. So if there's, I got action to share for you right now. You ready? Are you ready? Here we go. 3% play. Boom. Ask and you shall receive. All right. Hold on. I got to make sure my subscribers get it first. Okay. Here we go. 3% play. This is how we roll. This is going to be college baseball. College baseball. So pull up your baseball. As you guys know, we're going to do a total. This is a total. We've been crushing these totals. All right. Let me set it up. I got to make sure my guys get it first. You guys know that. Okay. We're going. Florida State Seminoles and Notre Dame. Florida State Seminoles, Notre Dame. This is college baseball. Let me pull that up. College baseball. Over 13.5. Over 13.5. We're laying minus 125, which means you could bet it all the way up to minus 150. That's how big of an edge we've had on these college baseball. So we're going over 13.5. Over 13.5. Okay. So that's Notre Dame fighting Irish against Florida State Seminoles. And we're going over 13.5, over 13.5 for 3%, which means 0.75, less than 1% by a little bit. All right. That's how strong that'll be, up to 150. We win that more than 6 out of 4 times. Boom. So there we are. 3%. And this one goes off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We're good to go. We have another one that just went off at 12. The reason I didn't give that out is because it was only one group bet it. I don't know if any of you guys bet this stuff live. I'll give it to you because I'm fair like that and I'm a nice guy. And I'll give you the other one. Now I take a percentage of the accounts, so I want these. I want to take these. I want them to win, obviously. All right, you ready for this? All right, get in line. Ready? I got women's for you. I got women's, and I'm even going to give this out for free. This will be a free play. This is a 3% play. Okay. Women's college basketball. Women's college basketball. First half. You're betting first half. Women's college basketball tournament. Are you guys getting ready? Are you ready? Let me get the women's up. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. We're going. You got 2 hours to bet this too. Maryland, South Carolina. Maryland, South Carolina. We're going over 71. Over 71. Good to minus 120. 3% play. Maryland, South Carolina. It's in the back end at Wager Talk. 3% play. First half total. Over. I'm going to give it at 71.5. Okay. I'll give it a 71.5 because that's what it has at. And it's good to over 71.5. I'll make it up to minus 120. Up to minus 120. So instead of 71, what we bet it at, I'll give it to you guys at 71.5. Over 71.5. Okay. Maryland, South Carolina over. Maryland, South Carolina over. All right, there's another one. I am hooking you guys today, boy. Oh man, I got to make that free too. I forgot to make it free. Shit. Hold on. I promised I'd make it free. I promised everyone they would be free, so let me give it. Maryland, South Carolina, women's college basketball, first half total. Boom, boom, boom. All right. It's also back there as a free play. Boom, boom, boom. Just like that. There you go. 2 free bets. Doesn't get better than that. 2 free premium plays. Uh-oh, you want another one? I'll give you another one. Here we go. I'm being generous today. Ready? Women's college basketball. Women's college basketball. Another one. 3% play. 3% play. Come on. LSU, NC State. LSU, NC State. 3%. First half total. First half total. We're going over 72, 72.5. Over 72, 72.5. I'm putting them in my page. I'm putting them on my page as free picks too. So these are 3% plays, 0.75, almost a percent of bankroll. You asked and you shall receive. Boom, boom. NC State, LSU, NC State, LSU. And the other college baseball, if you could bet live, Connecticut Xavier under 12.5. Connecticut Xavier under 12.5. Is another one. Connecticut Xavier. So now we just did what? LSU, NC State, LSU, NC State. Boom. We're in action, baby. We're in action. Number one right now. We're number one at Wager Talk in women's college basketball. And I couldn't name you a single player. I keep it real. You know that. I got to keep it real. Boom. Yeah, they in women's and Tyler in college baseball, you'll get a lot of that. You'll get a lot of that where you got to lay 115. The edges are big. The edges are big enough. We overcome it. Don't you worry about that. The edges are definitely big enough there. So you're good to go. Don't let that scare you. We got 3 good bets. 3 good bets. There. Loving it. Loving it. Loving it. All right. The last college basketball game so we can move on. Purdue, Houston. Purdue, Houston. This one's a toughie. This one's a toughie. Tough game. Here's what I got about Houston and Purdue. Offensively, they're about equal. They're so close to each other. Offensively, they're the same team. It's on the defensive side of the ball that I see the big differences. I mean, Purdue's awful. Purdue is awful, awful, awful. I know they only let 62 to McNeese and 63 to High Point. But now they're running into an offense. Now they're running into a very, very, very efficient offense. And the only thing I don't like about Houston is they've been too hot ATS lately. You know what I mean? They've won a bunch of games straight. Now they've covered 4 straight games. I don't like that. Teams that are outperforming the market and they're the favorite when there's only 2 games to bet at that time, I like to pick those where I believe I'm getting the best of it. And it's pretty hard to draw that conclusion right now against Houston, especially with that line having moved. Like I could see if you bet the opener on Houston, it opens 7.5. Okay. You got CLV. I can't argue. Who's going to argue if you made a decent bet? You got -7.5 in your pocket. And I look at the board right now and it's -8.5 everywhere. I can't, you made a good bet. Even if I don't love it, you made a good bet. But right now at 8.5, unless this shit closes 9.5, 10, I don't think it's a good bet. And I do not see this one closing 9.5, 10. I actually think Purdue's able to hang in there with their offense. I mean, let's look. They put 7, they're not going to have as easy a time scoring against this Houston defense, but I think they will be able to put up some points against them. I mean, Gonzaga put up 76 against them. Let's not forget. I don't think it will be like SIU at Edwardsville where they kept them to 40. So gun the head. Here's what I like tonight. I like Mississippi. I like Kentucky. I like Auburn. And I like Purdue. Just letting you know what I like. I don't have money. The only thing I have money on so far is Kentucky. Obviously, we'll get some props like I always do from these groups. I'll share them. And I'll let you know about anything else at all. Auburn money line, yeah. Yeah, I think they win this game. I'd like it at -400 because they definitely win this game greater than 8 out of 10 times. It's close to that 9 out of 10 times. But now that it's up to like -475, 480 at some places, I think it's a little bit too high. At -400, up to -400, I like it. Shout out my man Drew. Shout out for sure. You're welcome with the free plays. You know me. If I get them, this is live trading. That's why we're here. If I get them, you're getting them. You're not wasting your time. That's the bottom line. You know me. I'm going to give you what I got. So I do like Auburn. It hasn't changed. This is what I wrote the other day. And I had Auburn, Mississippi, Purdue, Kentucky. So my opinions haven't changed there. Now, real quickly, let me look at the baseball board. NBA, I got nothing until the playoffs start. You guys know we have a future on Cleveland at 10-1. Cleveland Cavs, 10-1, 10-1. Let me see what the Cavs are right now. I think we got a good number. Everybody was talking, Oklahoma City, Boston Celtics at that time. All right, Cleveland's 5-1 at my sharp book, 4.5-1 at sharp book. I like it. We got double that. On Cleveland. So we made a good bet. On Cleveland. Let me look at Major League Baseball real fast. Like I told you, even the groups I work with, they kind of wait till the first series is out of the way. We bet a little yesterday. We cashed 2 out of 3 bets. We hit our big bet, the 4% on a nice dog with Miami beating Pittsburgh. Let me see. I don't like the pitching matchup for Miami today, even though you know me, I like to bet those home dogs. Let me see. I do like, otherwise I would be looking towards the Miami side. What sticks out again? Let me see. Where are they? We bet the Cubs yesterday. The Cubs got it done for us. Another one where I don't like the pitching matchup. I actually think Kelly at home. And remember, opening day was yesterday. These home teams are motivated. It's hard to be motivated in baseball. They play 162 games. Once June, July comes, it's hard to say that they're motivated. They're playing every night. They're playing 3-game series. It's tough. But first game of the season, first series of the year, the home team's motivated, even the sucky teams, because at this time, everyone's alive for the World Series. Everyone's alive for the playoffs. They're not finding themselves 10 games behind, 15, 20 games behind, where you're not motivated driving to the stadium. Right now, you're 0-0, 1-0, 0-1. You're still motivated. So some of these home teams that lost game one, they may be a decent bet in game two. I'm a little more cautious. That's why I'm saying, like, we bet the Cubs yesterday. They won for us. We bet Pittsburgh yesterday. Miami yesterday, another home team that won for us. I think Arizona may bounce back today. Nothing really jumps out for me. So hopefully if one of our groups bet, I'll piggyback their stuff. But like I like to do, like I've told you guys, is I circle what I like and then I take it down. Don't worry, I won't keep you here. Here's another 10 minutes and we'll be out of here. We're here more than 90 minutes. I will not keep you here. I promised you. I know it's during the day. But let me look at that baseball that I just looked at. Yeah, it's the only thing that makes sense to me. Where'd it go? It's Baltimore and Toronto. Baltimore and Toronto. Okay. I like the under 8.5. I like the under 8.5. They put up 14 runs yesterday, but you need two teams usually to get an over in. But Baltimore's the team that put up 12 on the road against Toronto. Same total here today. I like the pitching matchup better. I like Morton and Gosman. I like the unders there. I definitely like the under. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All three games last year against Toronto for Morton went over. 2 of the 3 went over for Gosman. That's what you want to see. It's what you want to see. That's why this 8.5 is up there. And yesterday's recency bias. So this is a total that should be 7.5 at the most. Or 7 over favored. Not 8.5. So I like the under there. I like the under 8.5 in Baltimore. And anything else. You see that Oakland-Seattle total. Yeah, I like the over a little bit. Over 7 in Oakland and Seattle. So if gun the head today, I'd go under in that Baltimore. And I'd go over in A's Seattle. Another recency bias where they went, 4-2 yesterday. But they played together last year. Plenty of overs. There's a low total, especially for Springs versus Castillo. If you look at yeah. And last year, both for Springs went under. Castillo, his last game against them went under, but the other two had gone. I like the over. I like the over. Now, this early, Mike, I don't have any data. I don't have any data. A lot of what we're looking at is some of last year's stuff. I look at season win totals for this year. This early on, I'm basing a lot of my stuff off of season win totals this early until we compile some data and how the market moved on those season win totals. And just because that gives you a narrative of what's going on. Doesn't mean it's right, but that's the narrative coming in. And then I look for the overvalued good teams based on those season win totals. Because again, we all know Dodgers are going to be good. We all know Yankees are going to be good. But you're usually paying a premium for those teams, especially early on in the year before they've proven anything. And that's why I'm not afraid. You saw yesterday, 2 out of my 3 bets, I think, were dogs. I'm not afraid to bet the underdogs when it comes to baseball. I don't mind hitting 50%, 45% and being profitable. That's my goal, is to just make money. I could care less. I could care less. That's just what I'm trying to do. Now I'm going to give you UFC before I let you guys get out of here. Thank you, John. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the time. I even haven't, it's 12:30 here. I haven't even had breakfast because I came running. We slept at the Palms last night, but I had to do Kelly this morning, last call at 8 a.m. So all my stuff was here. I didn't want to carry everything down. And I'm like, we got to be back at the house by 7:30. So you could set me up and I could do a last call. So we get up at like 6:15, 6:30 a.m. at the Palms. And we had to get out of there. We had to get out of there pretty quickly. So forgive me, I'm a little bit tired today. Pleasure's mine. Thank you, Fantone. Thank you, sir. I'm going to give you MMA. Then I'm going to look at the accounts one more time to see what else we can look at. All right, here's what I like in MMA. Start off at the bottom. I like Austin Hubbard against Medeiros. I do like Hubbard. Now, Hubbard's lost 3 of his last 4. Medeiros is coming in having won his UFC debut against Quinones, but he shouldn't be a 2-1 favorite. That's the bottom line. He should not be a 2-1 favorite here where Medeiros wins this fight 2 out of 3 times. I did not think that was the case. One of the guys that I moved for, that's a good friend of mine, and I respect a ton, came in on the Hubbard side as well. And now where that line sits, I feel very good with our bet. Win or lose, I think we got the best of it. The line reflects that. Emmers, Miranda. Emmers is going to win that fight. The betting line's not worth it. The betting line's way too high. Garcia, Pichel. Here's the problem, man. Pichel could beat anybody. Now, he's lost 2 straight, but he's lost to Bonfim in his comeback, and he had lost to Madsen before he went out for a year and a half or 2. And Rafa Garcia is coming off a loss against Grant Dawson where he got knocked out. And before that, I mean, his wins were against Clay Guida. Now, granted, he's 12 years younger, and those guys win 2 out of 3 times. So I get it why Rafa is the favorite, but Rafa Garcia should not be that big of a favorite. And we've seen the dogs do some damage this year in MMA. So be cautious on that one if you're blindly throwing Garcia at -400 into your parlays. I don't think he beats Pichel 4 out of 5 times. I really don't. And that's break even. I'm seeing 455. So you got to conclude he wins this fight 9 out of 10 times to bet it. Garcia don't beat Pichel 9 out of 10 times. I think it's more like 7 out of 10. He does it 7.5 out of 10, but I don't think he beats him that many times. Godinez, Palastri. I'll let you know. I gave Godinez out to subscribers at -195 as a 4% play, -195, 4% play. And I love the fact she was coming off back-to-back losses, but that was against Dern and Jandaroba. Palastri would lose to both of them. I like that she changed camps for this fight. You know, she's been fighting out of Lobo's gym. That's where Diego Lopez is at. That's why Irene Aldana is at. But having lost 2 straight and having the experience she has in the UFC, it's good to go fight practice elsewhere, get coaching elsewhere. I like the move by Godinez. The reason she wasn't a 5% play, because I like her that much against Palastri, is that it's on short notice. Palastri, though, is short notice too, because she was supposed to fight 2 different girls before they gave her Godinez. So I like Godinez. I definitely like Godinez. And I gave her out 195, 190, I think, to subscribers. Good to 210. And now she's minus, 240. So we got a good bet. Someone's asking, what sport has the best betting market in today's climate? Oh, baseball. Unless you're a specialist of the small markets, like let's say you're crushing something like cricket or something like table tennis. Seriously, there's handball on there. or darts or some of those smaller things, and you're not a bettor that needs to get dimes down. You know what I mean? You're betting up to 100 on your max plays, and you could attack those smaller markets. That's where the money's at. But if you're getting down, if you're working with a bigger bankroll, then I definitely think there's one way to do it, and that's with baseball. Gives you the most opportunities to bet, the longest season to bet, and the biggest sample size of data that you can trust. That's huge. That's huge. That's very huge. All right, hold on. I got to put something in real fast. I'll share one of these with you guys. These are bets that are coming in. And what do you know? They are MMA bets too. That's what's funny. All done. 3 MMA bets. Hold on, where you at? Where you at, Chirez? Sorry, I got to put these in. So like I said, this is live trading. So if I'm getting this stuff, I got to put it in right now. These lines are going to move. My guys, my man moves lines. That's for sure. All right, and this is the third one. Emmers. Yeah, I'm going to give you one of these. I'll give you one of these. My subscribers, you'll get probably 2 of these because I do agree with 2 of them. Okay. Let me see which ones I'm going to give you. I'll tell you right now. I'll give you the smallest juice, You ready? We're going to go over on Chirez, over on Chirez fight. I got him down at minus 155. At minus 155. That would definitely be a 3% play. In the back end, it's minus 150. Yeah, like the Chirez. I got like 5 plays in my MMA card right now. Let's go. So we're going over 2.5 in Chirez. You know that one. Now let me go through the rest of the board real quick. Like I told you, I like Godinez, Costa, and Rodriguez. That was a tough fight. That's a tough fight. Christian Rodriguez is a tough out, man. He's a tough out. But this line, I'm taking Rodriguez. I'm taking Rodriguez or pass there. I'm taking Rodriguez. Medina, Gaultier. Again, Gaultier wins that fight, but at minus 450, 500, I don't see any value there. Chirez, Vergara, you know what we like. We like the over. I think Chirez wins this one by decision. I think Vergara's CJ's going to be a tough out because he's coming off back-to-back losses. His back's to the wall, and he just got knocked out. And Chirez is motivated too, coming in off his loss to Joshua Van. And we all know how good Joshua Van is right now. So he's showing us just how good he is. So, yeah, I like Chirez and over there. Rodriguez and Borjas. Another one where I think the dog is live. You give me Borjas. Give me Borjas. I think I might even end up betting Kevin Borjas in this one against. I mean, I'm kidding. That was the weight cut. That was the weight cut. I'm just messing with you. You know, we already got. We like Ronaldo Rodriguez. This is the one where Rodriguez looked terrible in the weight cut. And I'm surprised, though, the line hasn't moved all that much. Rodriguez is badass, man. And yeah, the best is his sub against Bonder. Then he beats O'Day Osborne as well. I remember he lost on the Contender, if you guys remember. He lost on the Contender. And when you look at the Borjas, he wins on the Contender, but hasn't won a UFC fight yet. But he had tough outs. I mean, Joshua Van and Costa are tough outs. So this isn't a step up against Ronaldo. But I think Ronaldo gets it done. Next. Simon Oliveira, David Martinez. What did I have there? Martinez wins that fight. Another line that's just out of whack. Rosas Jr. again. Since he got that loss unexpectedly, he's beating fed people left and right. This time he's being fed Vince Morales, who's 14 years older than him. Morales, who hasn't won since December of 2021. He's lost 4 straight decisions. Now, Rosas is getting good matchups. Rosas wins this fight. Mexico City, the Mexican fighter that they love coming out of there. I think he gets it done. But again, there's just no line value there. And yes, I do get it with Morales as well, being the Mexican fighter. I get it. But just saying, you know, Raul Rosa from the gyms, then down Gastelum and Piper. How's Piper this big of a favorite? The line moved down. I think he was like 600, went to like 300 or so. He beats Gastelum. He's a big dude. Piper's from Philly. He's a big guy. But, you know, an older if he was fighting Gastelum back in, you know, the Gastelum of 2017, 2018, this line wouldn't be this wide. But fighting Gastelum now, you got to give it to him over Piper. This is though where Gastelum isn't that much older. He's only about 5 years older, and I'm not surprised to see Gastelum getting some money at the betting window. I mean, listen, he was plus 400. Now he's only plus 250. So he definitely got some sharp money that thought it was warranted on Gastelum. I think Piper gets it done, but I don't think he should be that big of a favorite. You know, we've seen Piper lose already. We've seen him get Hermansen, and we've seen him get knocked out by Stolfus in Contender Series. Dober Torres, it's who's going to land first. I was talking about that on Wager Talk today. And if I got to guess who lands first, it's Manuel Torres. I mean, look at Torres. He's coming off his first UFC loss. Every one of his fights was in the first round. Contender Series first round. First 3 wins in the UFC first round. First loss in the UFC first round. You know what he's coming. He's coming to throw bombs. He's got a dance partner in Drew Dober, that's for sure. You know, Dober's that guy that blocks punches with his face. The problem is Dober's now been knocked out in 2 of his last 3 losses. Vicious fight against Jean Silva. Remember, went 3 rounds and then got finished. Like, took a beating. Now he's coming right back. I like Torres, man. At plus money, I like Torres. I know Dober's got the better strength of schedule, but it's his losses that are more impressive than his wins. The losses for Dober are a lot more impressive than the wins. So give me Torres and under there. I think Torres gets him out of there quickly. Torres doesn't get paid by the hour, so he knows he's not going long. Torres wants to get this done quick. And he's going to win in the first round or lose in the first round. And if you look at strike differential and who gets hit a lot less, you're going to realize that's Torres. Both throw a lot of volume, but Torres is better defensively, more defensively sound. Finally, Moreno and Usyk. I know everybody thinks Moreno is going to win Mexico City. I know he hasn't won in Mexico. He's going to finally get his win. Usyk overvalued, overrated. I heard it all. Dude, Usyk is a tough out. And if you look at who he lost to his last 2 fights, he lost to Alexander Pantoja, and he lost to Kai Kara France. Both of them, very tough outs. Let's not forget, Brandon Moreno lost to Pantoja as well. He knocked out Cara France, but Cara France was giving him a run for his money into the third round, Moreno. So Cara France landed the big shot early against Urseg. Because of that, I think there's recency bias there. I like Urseg at this price. Again, when you bet a plus 200, here's what you have to be prepared for. That even when you're running your hottest, when you're at your peak, when you're seeing things so clearly, and you take a plus 200, you need to be prepared to throw that bet out 6 out of 10 times. That's going to happen to you. If you're not prepared to place a good bet, knowing you're going to throw it away 6 out of 10 times, don't take a plus 200 dog, because that's what the math plays out to. And that's when you're running your hottest. So for me, I'm comfortable doing that. I'm comfortable if I think I'm getting the best of it, even though I know I'm going to throw that ticket out more times than I'm going to cash it. In the long run, I know if I keep placing this kind of bet, I'm going to be profitable. I'm comfortable doing it. So for me, I like Urseg. I like the over as well. And then also factor this in. If it goes to a decision, which it's highly favored to go to, minus 200, 4.5. You know how I like those over 3.5s, over 4.5s. Do I really want the judges to have to decide a fight for me with a minus 250 favorite in my pocket? That makes me nervous as hell. These judges are horrific. Now, granted, Moreno may get some hometown cooking in Mexico City, but still, the way these judges are, I wouldn't want to be sitting on a minus 250, 300 ticket and have the judges have to freaking decide it. That's just my 2 cents. So I'm going to give you guys, pleasure's mine, Tyler. Thank you. I give as much as I can in the time that we have together. And like I said, we've been out now. I probably told my guy, I said, I'll be out of there within an hour. I said, it's during the week. That's why we're doing it. I'll be done in an hour. I got other work to get done. Yeah, judges are awful, B Daddy. But you guys keep me going, man. What am I going to do? I enjoy hanging out with you guys. Your feedback is amazing. The questions you ask are freaking awesome. And I love sharing this information with you. And hopefully, whether you follow or fade it, that it helps you. That you see, we do move the market. You shouldn't agree with me with everything. You definitely shouldn't, because I'm going to lose a lot of bets along the way. I bet every single day. I bet multiple markets. So I'm going to have plenty of losers. With that said, I'm going to win more than I'm going to lose. I think that much has been proven. But don't worry about fading me, about being opposite me. Like I said, you have your own opinion. You're not here by accident. Most of your sharp bettors, if you're logged into this and if you've been with me for a while, I know who you guys are. You're sharp. You know how to gamble. You know how to bet. You know your sports. You know markets. You understand line moves. So don't be afraid. Don't let me sway you. If you have conviction, fucking bet it. If you like something, say, I think he's wrong. You're way wrong. I'm going to be wrong plenty. I'm going to be wrong. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm not going to be the sharpest guy in the room. Not going to be the best handicapper in the room. I do well enough to provide a good living for myself and my family. That's it. That's enough for me, for the lifestyle that I need. That's it. But don't ever feel it's not disrespectful to disagree with me. Never be I don't see it as a disrespect to disagree with me on my opinions. When something's factual and it's math-based, it's hard for us to argue it. We don't have to like it, but it's hard to argue math. But when it's an opinion, my opinions are wrong all the time. And in fact, I like other perspectives. I respect people that disagree respectfully, because that's the only way you're ever going to learn. I learned a lot from people that have disagreed with me. And if you do it respectfully, the person actually can absorb it and learn. If you do it disrespectfully, most people are just going to brush it off, because no one wants to learn that way. So I always try to make sure if I disagree with someone, I make sure I disagree with them respectfully, so that they try, especially if I have conviction and I'm sure of what I'm saying, then I definitely want to make sure I do it respectfully and try to sway them my way, in a way where they understand it, where it's reasonable to them, where they're not just agreeing with me because they think, oh, man, he knows more than me, but that my argument makes sense to them. Because I always say, if you can't explain something to me like I'm 4 years old, then you don't know the material. You should be able to explain your position to me like I'm 4, so that I understand it, or else you don't have conviction. Like you don't know what you're talking about. So if I can't explain it to you, as if thinking you don't know, it's not an insult. There's things like you're not supposed to know this shit. Like if someone starts talking to me about astrophysics, I haven't studied astrophysics. What am I going to tell you? Of course, I'm going to pay attention and listen. You know, you don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. In fact, I made sure my goal in life was always not to be the smartest guy in the room. And I think that's where I thank God I don't have an ego. I was born without that ego and that envy and that jealousy. So I want to absorb from people. There's some guys, I've seen some really smart guys that I respect so much, and their biggest downfall was needing to be the smartest guy, needing to be the voice in the room. So even if someone's idea is better, because it didn't come from them, they can't follow it. And that's their biggest downfall. That's why I've tried to surround myself by people that know more than me. So I have something to learn. It's like fighters. If you're a BJJ black belt, sure, you could go to the gym and beat the shit out of white belts all day. You would just go destroy them all day. But what are you going to get out of it? But if you're a white belt and you're going to the gym and you're doing nothing but rolling with black belts, you're going to get your ass kicked every day. Every damn day, you're going to get your ass kicked. There's not a single day that you're going to leave there being the winner. But you're going to learn so much. You're going to be levels ahead of any other white belt. You're welcome, Sean. Come on up, my friend. Come on up, my friend. I'm logging in last time now to see if we got anything extra to add before we get out of here. Nope, LSU NC State was it. So we're going to depart. I love you guys. I love you guys. Thank you. We're here almost 2 hours longer than we expected, but you guys were worth it. You guys were worth it. Want to thank all of you. Appreciate you smashing that like button on the way out. Helps with the algorithm. If you got a second, if you're driving or listening to it, don't even do it. Don't even worry about it. Or you're just listening to it on your phone or something, don't even stress it. But if you got your laptop in front of you, smash that like button. Thank you, Sean. Great 2 hours for me. Cheer in those bets for us. Let's hit those women's college basketball. See, we do some good damage in college, men's college basketball tonight, MMA tomorrow night, and do some damage, man. Whether you follow or fade, I swear to God, I hope you guys win some money, make some money. I'm not booking you, so it's not my money you're taking. I hope you guys do some damage and good takeaways from here. I just hope even one little nugget of information or one little nugget of something that helps you become a more efficient bettor, then I did my job. Thank you, John. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Sean. All you guys, bro. All you guys. Thank you. Thank you. City by the Bay couldn't have said it better. I hope everybody eats. Everybody's got to eat, my brother. Everybody's got to eat. And I hope we all eat well. God bless you and yours. God bless you and yours. All of you. Love you. Have a great day.